is Tarik Talk. Your host, Tarik Mendez, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tarik Talk.
All right, guys, today we're here with Georgina on our podcast, and we'll be interviewing her. She's a fellow artist of mine. We're technically neighbors in our art studio.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Georgina.
Yeah, sure. So I am a professional makeup and body paint artist. So I make my living doing that as a freelance artist, but I'm also now a photography artist. So in the studio, I work with clients and sort of create body painted photography art.
Oh wow, that's very good. I like that, and I have to say your work is so fascinating because you see, like I see your images and your self-portraits with the makeup, and I have no idea about makeup. So to me, it's like, how does she do that? Like, where does she even start? You know, because as an artist, when you see paintings, other people do it, you can kind of tell, oh, they started here, they did this, they used this paint. But with makeup, like when I see your work, I'm like, I don't even know, like, is it with those like airbrush, or is it like by hand, or is it with a makeup brush? So I do find that very fascinating. Like, what's your creative process like when you're doing those portraits and doing the makeup? Like, how do you choose those looks?
Well, I really like color. I'm obsessed with color and sort of like glamour and shine and all sorts of textures. So I tend to gravitate towards really bold and contrasting colors. So yeah, I kind of draw inspiration from a lot of the time like fashion or fabrics or another artist or some sort of mood or feeling that I'm going for, and then I sort of get my color palette in order and kind of just start to build and start to, you know, do the base and do the different highlights and contours, and I generally do the eyes last.
Oh wow.
And sort of like work backwards almost with that. So, and it kind of just all happens as I'm doing it.
Oh, so you don't have like a concept, or you just
Not
kind of
necessarily.
have an idea.
Yeah. When it's on myself, I'm often just sort of like playing around and having an idea of like having a feeling and knowing, okay, I want to do something pink today, or I want to do something blue today, or like whatever is sort of like the color of the moment. So I guess color is a main sort of driver for me. And then I kind of like match the background to that, like do a contrast background, or, you know, do a contrast style element, whether it's like earrings or a headpiece or eyelashes. So it's kind of like built around that, and then just that mood that I was going for.
Very interesting. And how did you get, I find it very fascinating, how did you get, like, what made you go from taking doing the body makeup on other people and taking their pictures to doing your makeup and taking your self-portrait? Like, how did that start?
Right. Well, it actually started during the pandemic.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So, you know, we're all locked inside and had nothing to do. And my husband is actually a photographer. So we set up a little home studio, and I would pretty much like spend a day thinking about what I was going to do, and even like seeing what I had in my wardrobe in terms of like style elements, or like what could I wear on my hair, or like did I have any glasses or earrings or something that I could utilize. And then I would make a design on my iPad. So I do a little sketch, and I like try you know, what color background, and I sort of like use Procreate to do that. And then so that would sort of like take a day, sort of brainstorming, I guess. And then the next day I would like wake up late and then start doing the makeup. And then, you know, a couple of hours later, it would take 3 to 4 hours to do the full makeup. And then my husband would shoot it. So, and then I would have a shower, and then kind of like the whole day was over. So it was a very good way to spend the days during the pandemic. And then I started posting them on social media, and all my friends and followers and everyone would love it, that they were like, oh, what are you going to do tomorrow, and like, what's the next one? So I kind of like built up this little following of people being inspired by what I was doing in the pandemic, and therefore it was like a fun thing and inspiring for them.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then after that happened, I'd always like doing more full body pieces, because I like that. I like when someone's like, wow, how did you do that? Like, I really like that line, that like the line that gets blurred between, is it real, is it Photoshop, is it a costume, is it a mask, is it face paint, like what are they wearing, like what is that? So I really like playing with that unknown factor. So body paint is even, the same thing but on a bigger scale, because you're using the whole body as your canvas versus your face. So then I went more, I got my studio next door to you, and then I've started to do like more full body pieces. So it's the same sort of concept, but I can't really do myself as a full body painting, so it's much easier to paint on somebody else. And then I've learned photography, and I had my husband help me sort of set up the studio and learn about lighting. So I've just it's pretty new diving into like being the photographer as well.
Yeah.
Because I was always working and collaborating with teams of people for my work.
Yeah.
And being like the makeup artist and body painter, not the photographer. So now it's really fun because I'm acting, doing every role. I'm like creative director, stylist, hairstylist, makeup artist, photographer, lighting director. I'm doing the editing, so it's like a whole thing now versus
being just like part of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I find that really fun because it's 100% me now versus like that 20% that it was before.
Definitely. And I just wanted to add on to what you said. That was also, I remember one thing that fascinated me about your work was that when I first saw your work, I thought the makeup part was real and the background was just like photoshopped, until one day I saw your work, and there's also a backdrop, like it's not photoshopped. So I loved how, there's like the person with the body makeup, but also the background is like fun and colorful. How did you like come up with that both ideas? Like, how did you not just like try to make it just about the body makeup, but also like, include the body almost like in a surrounding colorful pop-up?
Yeah, well, I guess it's like I want to produce art. So I want to have a whole, like I want the whole image and the whole product to be an end product of a piece of art that I can sell and have shows of and print. So if it's just a body by itself, to me it's not a finished total piece of art. So I wanted to incorporate the styling elements and the set design and all of that together to make a comprehensive finished piece of art that stands alone by itself. Because often with photography there'll be like a series of photography which will make up one shoot. Like there'll be like several series to an editorial. For example, there's like 8 series of photos for one story. So I wanted my images to be standalone one-off pieces by themselves. So you could take them away and have them on their wall alone, or you could have 2 pieces together if you wanted. So just I try to think of each image as a sole piece of art that deserves its own space and its own concept and just is there in all its glory.
Yeah. I remember the 2 photographs that I curated last year for our group show. I remember I really liked seeing people interact with the art. It was 2 black and white images, if you remember, in the large gallery.
Yeah.
And seeing people have the same thought as I did, like, oh my gosh, is this just the person with like a Photoshop background? And then some people would like say it a lot to each other, oh my gosh, this is a background, but look how well this background and the body makeup goes together. So do you, like when you're creating something, are you thinking about how people will interact with it, or do you try to play like an illusion almost? Like, is it real or is it fake? Or
Yeah,
do you think
I
about
love that idea of like how did the artist do this?
Yeah.
I love that question of like, is it real? Is it a costume? Are they wearing like a leotard? Is this a mannequin?
Yeah.
I really like that idea, and then bringing this fashion element into it, so it feels like it kind of crosses a couple of different worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like that too. What are you working on right now at the moment?
At the moment, I'm working on some beauty stuff. So still doing like more makeup driven work. Getting into more social media, I guess. I'm going to start doing a lot more TikTok sort of tutorials and sort of like body painting makeup videos, let's say. And then I plan to do some more body painting stuff, but
Oh, cool.
yeah, I'm still like getting my head around what's next.
Do you have a TikTok at the moment, or you?
I do. It's called WTF Beauty.
Okay. And
So
can you also tell us your Instagram and website too?
yeah, my Instagram is just my name, so it's Georgina Billington, and website is also my name, www.georginabillington.com.
And then can you spell Billington just in case?
Yeah, it's Billington, so Billington.
Right. So for everybody, go follow her. She's an amazing, talented human being and the nicest one too.
Oh,
All right, Georgina, can you tell us a little bit about body painting? Like, what is exactly body painting for like people that don't know?
yeah, sure. So body painting is, actually an ancient art form. It's been around for a very long time. Like a lot of indigenous cultures have been doing body painting for ceremonies, and it's really been a part of our world forever. But so I guess with body painting, I'm trying to bridge the gap of art and fashion and beauty and makeup.
Do you have like, what's one of your like memorable favorite looks you've done?
Had the pleasure of painting Anthony Kiedis for the Red Hot Chili Peppers
Oh my God.
for one of his music videos called Go Robot.
Oh,
So
wow.
if anyone's ever seen that, you'll see that Anthony Kiedis is painted fully in white, and he is dancing around Brooklyn wearing next to nothing. And it was a super hot summer day that we did this,
Oh, wow.
and he had to dance for hours during his music video, so the body paint had to last for a really long time. So I think I did maybe 5 layers of paint, and did a special process of using like waterproof paint and airbrush paint and all these different techniques. And I even had to cover his tattoos first to enable the pure white body painting to show up. So it was pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And were you on set, or did you just have them prepared to go on set and record the music video?
No, we were on location,
Oh,
so I had a
amazing.
special room and everything where I did it. I remember that he was like FaceTiming with his family while we were doing it. It was super cool.
That's so cool. And how did it feel for you as an artist to not just see your work on a 3D picture, but see like on a living person interacting with music and ended up being a music video? How was like?
Oh, that's like the dream.
Yeah.
I think like my style of makeup and my aspirations of being a makeup and body paint artist, it leads right into the music industry, and like music videos is the highest form of creativity, I believe, because you're working with like super creative musicians. You're creating their vision of their music using your skills and your techniques and talent, and so it's like this collaboration of the most creative people coming together to produce that sort of work.
I love it. All right, so thank you so much, Georgina, for coming on our podcast and speaking with us about your amazing background about body painting, teaching us so much we didn't know about before. If you want to just tell us your Instagram really quick.
Yeah, it's Georgina Billington.
Perfect. And then if anybody's interested in body paint or having a photo shoot with you, we can just go on your website and then send you a message.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah. Email me and
Perfect.
let me know that you heard me on the podcast and that you'd like to be my model, and I'd love to, conceptualize something.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you so much again. Thank you.
Thank you, Tarik.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Tarik Talk. Follow Tarik Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online.